Hey everyone, I was just talking to Zayas. My normal media player, it's going to start, so I'm going to have to stop it. It's going to start here, and I'll pause. And now I have a hotkey. I can hit Control Shift O, and it'll let me. It starts at a root. I can pick a folder, and it will pick anything under it. Well, I realized like this rock, I literally had to copy
Hold on. Are you
like
sharing your screen? I'm sorry. I don't see it. Oh, there we go.
yeah, sorry. So I literally would have to copy, like for rock, I put in ACDC, Scorpion. I literally had to copy the audio
Uh-huh.
under them, taking up more space. And I know it's dumb.
Of course.
Like,
Right.
and then it occurred to me, what if I like took this approach and created um a folder that had shortcuts?
There you go. I was just gonna I was just gonna suggest that.
So this morning I did that and I got it to it was actually took it a little bit. It struggled a little with that AI to loop
Really?
this, loop over the other files and build up. So, but wait, there's more. Then I'm like, I forget what I decided to add. And I'm like, hey, let me add something else to it. So let me launch now the new version. Oh, it's going to start it again. There, I paused it. Now when I hit open, so it built a tree view. The
Okay.
bold indicates that there's subfolders, but I can
Uh-huh.
select the different folders I want, and I can just hit build list.
Build a playlist on that one. Yeah, that's perfect.
So yeah, very, very cool update that now if I want
I
to mix and match
you
ACDC,
know
it would be a
it,
weird combination, but
that's
on the
a
fly.
good one.
Yeah.
Right. No, but although this is one of those fun, this is one of those problems that I find them fun because there are many ways that you can uh,
Oh yeah.
actually do this, right? So your first idea of hey, let's use shortcuts.
Yep.
That's a very knee-jerk reaction that you can have to that. Like, how can I have a lot of files. I want to group them together. How do I do that? And you're not the only one who come up with that. Let me show you this. Another situation where having uh, how do I say shortcuts. It's kind of like a weird way of doing it, but yeah, you can. It is I'm working with Jeff, right? And Jeff has this uh sequences thing, which is basically a he wants to have how do I say a group of emails that will be sent to a
Yep.
group of people, right? And it has to be sent in a given order. But
Right.
he wants to group people by certain ideas. So what I did, because he's not a programmer, he wants to be able to change them or modify them quickly. We created a group of folders that then have either a group of shortcuts to a file or a file, a physical TXT file. And that's the thing, like you're looking at certain um, shortcuts, all of the shortcuts right now. If I go in each of these, you'll find a lot of shortcuts that all of them are pointing to one file. But the funny thing is, if I switch this guy, so if I have a file here that is named exactly this, but instead of being that, is actually a text document, so I just rename it like this,
Yep.
then the shortcut becomes invalid. So the tool doesn't look at the shortcut, and it will look at the file that is right there right now. If it
Yep.
is not there, this shortcut, when you look at it, what it's doing is pointing to the non file. So it would be the file that is here in none, this basic template. Is all of them are pointing to this template, basically, is what happens. So it's another situation in which a bunch of file shortcuts can help you because he wants a cascading effect. He wants everything that I haven't touched should be pointing to the basic template.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if I work on this guy, I
Yeah.
want so let's say that he worked on I think I was an advisor or something. What was I? Audit? Well, I don't know where I'm accounting. Okay. So if he worked In accounting, he wants all the files in accounting to point to the accounting one, not the non one. Okay. So he already created a template now for accounting. All the sub functions within accounting now should point to the file that he wanted. For example, is one of the ways that he wants to kind of like link them. On sometimes not all of them. He wants a group of them to point to the accounting basic one, but two of them to point to the basic template in none. You know how things are, right? Like in this thing, like there's a few of them that he wants in one thing and the other two he doesn't want. Okay, great. So one quick way that I did that was with shortcuts. Instead of me having to do that in a database or so on, at least for him to be able to create a txt file in that spot and just make it work, right? I didn't have to tell him what to do in my program to get it to work. But for now, right now you just have one location here, and
he's got to be very careful with his naming convention or whatever, right? Like he does have some rules to follow, but
yes,
still it's not crazy hard to for you to implement and for him to follow, right?
The funny thing was that in the end, I built for his tool a little bit of a GUI that then takes care of linking those things together. So he now has, I don't think I have finished it yet, but one of the things that he will be able to do is just go to, well, he will have a button for that. I haven't finished it, but there is a GUI now that is a sequence, either manager or editor. Sorry, I think it would be this one. Yeah, this one. And if I go to a given thing, it would read all the files in that location. And I could create a TXT by selecting, for example, the financial audit. I want to create that one instead of being a link to something. Instead of that, it would create the TXT file there based on the basic template. It seems to me that the basic template, the links are not properly set up right now. That's the reason why I'm getting this error here, because I should have gotten a shortcut target, and then I will try to read the target. I need to have an if statement. Hey, if the target is empty, hey, do something. Okay. But basically, this reads the file, deletes the link here, and then replaces it with a TXT file there. And then I could select a group of files and say, link them to this file. So it's quite easy for me to kind of like modify the locations of stuff and what they're pointing to. But I find it funny that you actually ended up using shortcuts to do your problem, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, we talked about this years ago when I was explaining in programming, when I explained variables, because most people have played with a spreadsheet. And I'm like, when you reference a cell, like, that's what you're doing. You're pushing something into a variable. Now I just have a reference to it, right? And that general concept, no matter, like, it's crazy when you start diving into functions in classes and everything. It's that same overall concept, just like
it's everywhere.
Right? Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and it's really funny, but yeah.
And then coming back to the other, so on to the player, you could have actually tagged all the files using the file expro, however function to kind of like tag the type and so on, and then use a function to read it. Well, that's the same way of going ahead and creating a database and having them in the database like tagged. There's so many ways that you can solve the same problem, and it's in a fun way. Like, okay, so I could use a database, I could tag the actual files, I could create folders and shortcuts,
create a playlist to say,
right, you can do the playlist thing that you just did. You just select the ones that you want to play now, and then just creates that.
Doesn't save it, right? Like, I didn't actually save that list, which I could still add to it. Actually add the ability to save once you generate that combination of files, save it. Then it's that I could refer to it later if I cared to.
And each of those options kind of like teach you something new, gives you a different way of solving the same thing. That is great. I really like those type of problems that have multiple solutions, because then comes along somebody and comes up with a solution that you have never seen before, and you're like, oh wow, that's a crazy one. I wouldn't have thought of that. Yeah, that's a great one.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. Cheers.
Bye.